Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar. Hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Kanada'nın en kaliteli kolejlerinden Langara College'da eğitim ve en iyi üniversitelere transfer imkanlarını Gregory ve Onur Bey'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Buyurun Onur Bey, sahne sizin.
Herkese merhabalar. Langara College, Kanada'nın en batı şehri olan ve dünyanın en yaşanılır şehirler listesinde birçok kez birinci olmuş çok güzel Vancouver şehrindeki bir devlet koleji. Burada lise ve üniversite mezunlarına özel sertifika diploma programları var. Üniversite mezunlarının 1 ve 2 senelik sertifika diploma programları alabileceği, lise mezunlarının gidip ardından üniversiteye transfer olabileceği ve çok büyük sayıda programları olan ve her alanda eğitim veren çok güzel bir kolej. Ben de bu okulun mezunuyum. Ben de kendi eğitim danışmanlığı adına katılıyorum. Langara College'da uzun yıllardır beraber çalışıyoruz. Gregory sunumu yapacak. Sunum esnasında sorularınızı questions yazan, o soru yazan bölüme yazarsanız sonunda hepsini beraber cevaplandıracağız. Sözü Gregory'e bırakıyorum. The microphone is yours.
Great, thank you, Onur, and thank you, Zeynep, and to IEFT Talks webinar. This is I think this is the, I don't know, maybe the 5th or 6th one I've done and over the last year since the pandemic, but it's been very good and I'm glad to be here again. So good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in Turkey. Thank you for joining. My name is Gregory Pokorny. I'm Manager of International Marketing and Recruitment at Langara College, and part of my portfolio includes Turkey and the Caucasus region. So it's nice to be here and give a presentation about Langara. I think Onur can he'll be on the call as well, and then please feel free to write any questions in the chat box, any Q&A, and then we can get to it at the end, and we answer all the questions at that time. So without further ado, let me share my screen and I'll start the presentation. And my presentation's not there now. Okay, a second.
Bu arada e-mail adreslerimizi buraya yazacağım. Sonradan irtibat kurabilirsiniz. I'm just writing our email addresses in the meantime. I'll write yours as well.
Okay, thank you. Where's my...
Gregory Pokorny, your email address. I will write the email addresses. I should write Solmaz's email address as well.
It's okay. I can just give that at the end. Sorry, I just had my presentation up before and now it's not...
Langara College. Langara College.
Are you able to see your preview, Gregory?
Yeah, I had it before because I already tried sharing it and it worked, and now I go back in and just a second.
I put both emails, by the way, since we save time. There are questions coming, so maybe I can just answer some of them in the meantime.
It's my presentation. Okay. Is it there?
Yes, it went up.
Okay,
yes.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, sorry everybody, but yeah, I got my presentation. I think you can keep the questions coming in, and definitely we will have time at the end to answer all the questions, and any questions you have during the presentation, just put them there. Okay, so I introduced myself, and as I said, I'm Gregory Pokorny, and I'm just going to talk here a little bit about Langara. Briefly, a little bit about Canada. I think many people know this, but we are a pretty big country, landmass, almost 38 million, and you can see the map there with the Vancouver on the west coast in BC, British Columbia.
Hi, Gregory. Is the presentation mode, because we cannot see full screen?
It's not. I can see it on the screen, but it's not full screen.
What about now?
Now we can see.
Is it full screen?
Yeah? No.
No, it's full screen on my computer.
Maybe you can choose your entire screen.
There's a... Arkadaşlar, sağ alttaki düğmeden mi bahsediyorsunuz? Bahsedilen. Yani söylerseniz tam olarak. There's a button on the bottom right.
Yok Onur Bey. Full screen yapınca görünmüyor. Bilgisayardan kaynaklı bir şey bu. Tam ekran yapması gerekiyor ilk seçerken paylaşımda. So you choose entire screen, not the window option. Maybe that way we can see the full screen.
But how?
I just pressed full screen and it's on full screen on my computer. I don't understand why it's not showing full screen there.
Yeah, sometimes we have this kind of problem. So once you share your screen, there are three options, you know. The first one is entire screen, the second one is window, and the third one is Chrome tab. So maybe if you choose the first option, the entire screen.
Okay, so let me just so I have to cancel my presentation and go back, share screen again.
You are not sharing your screen right now, so please share again.
Technicalities.
But your entire screen, but my presentation is not there under your entire screen. It's in the application window.
Okay, so maybe we can try that, but if you don't have to go full screen.
Maybe
because when you're changing the slides, we are not able to see it on your full screen.
Okay, so what about now? Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, now when you change the slides, we can see, but don't go full screen.
So
okay. So don't go presentation, don't go to slideshow.
Yes, correct.
Wow, okay. I learned something new.
Okay. But do you see, you just see presentation, you don't see you just see my slides, you don't see presentation mode. So
yes, now can you change the slides please?
Hayır, onu sormuyor. Tüm programı görüyorsunuz ama slideshow olarak görmüyorsunuz. Yani sol koldaki
evet, görebiliyoruz. Çünkü slideshow'a geçildiği zaman slide'ları değiştirdiğinde görmüyoruz.
İlginç. Okay. Gregory, when you go to slideshow, apparently there's a problem and they can't see it full screen. So you have to leave it as it is, you know, with the future slides on the left column. Okay. So leave it like that then.
Okay, let's just go because I don't want to take up.
Yeah, you did the right thing, but it's not working.
Okay, sorry everybody, but okay. Anyway, let me just continue on. Sorry about the tech difficulties here. So anyway, we're located in Canada, in Vancouver, and you know, Vancouver is located in British Columbia. It is the third largest metropolitan area city in Canada. Toronto is the biggest, and Montreal is second, and Vancouver is third. Usually Vancouver's ranked in the top 10 cities, most livable cities in the world. It's known as Hollywood North, kind of a big film industry, television, movies, animation, and so on. And the other thing I like to highlight is the mild temperatures. In the winter, average temperature is 0 to 5 degrees. So may seem cold compared to maybe Turkey, but compared to other parts of Canada, it's quite a bit milder. So a couple other things, Vancouver is a very multicultural city. Over 20% of the population born overseas in another country now making Vancouver their home. Median age 42, and usually has quite low unemployment rates. That means there's a lot of jobs. This is kind of before the pandemic, so obviously it's a little bit skewed, but hopefully we'll be coming back to these totals as we come out of the pandemic. All right, turning our attention on a more broader scale is why to consider college, and there's a few factors to consider, and they include choice, adaptability, grades. When I talk about choice, I'm talking about flexibility in the options, and adaptable because we keep the class sizes quite small, 35 students or less generally. And grades, because it's a community college, Langara works on an open access policy. So the requirements are not as strict as long as you've graduated high school and you meet the English proficiency requirements, you can gain admission to most programs. Course load, we have 3 semesters a year, so you can start on any of the 3 semesters. You can start in September, or you can start in January, or you can start in May. And the final factor, which is probably one of the biggest factors, is the investment. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm talking about tuition fees. And if you see this slide here, you can see a tuition fee comparison, and these are some other institutions in BC. All great institutions, University of British Columbia, Simon Fraser, University of Victoria. But you can see for international students, for the business program, for example, the international student tuition fee varies quite a bit. So at UBC, the international student will pay $51,000. Simon Fraser, $33,000. UVic, $25,000 almost. Langara, for the same courses, because you can transfer, you're paying $18,000. So if you're doing 1 year or 2 years at Langara and then transferring to one of these universities, you are saving yourself quite a bit of money. Okay, so Langara is a public community college, and when we say public, that means government funded. And as a government funded public community college, you are able to work part-time, and once you get the Langara credential, you are eligible for PGWP, post-grad work permit. So that's, you're able to work during your studies, and once you graduate, you are eligible for PGWP. Okay, the picture here, I just wanted to highlight, the picture there is of the downtown. You can see the skyscrapers and the mountains in the background. And then if you see this picture, I'm sorry, because I can't do full screen, but at the very top of that map, you can see that is the downtown. And you can see there at the black line going down, that is the Canada line, the SkyTrain line, going from downtown to the Vancouver International Airport. And about halfway down, it's hard to see because the picture, but it says main campus. And that is where Langara is located. So it's a 17-minute SkyTrain ride to downtown Vancouver. It's a 15-minute SkyTrain ride to the Vancouver Airport. And it's 15 minutes by bus to UBC. And it's located in a quiet residential area. So the location is quite convenient for students that are living all around the Lower Mainland. It's very accessible by public transportation. And the good thing is the students cannot really get lost when you take the SkyTrain, because the SkyTrain station is called Langara 49th Avenue. So just some facts about Langara. It's got a long history. It's very reputable. It was established in 1970 originally, and it became Langara in 1994. At 3 intakes a year, as I mentioned, the 5 to 7 minute walk from the Langara 49th SkyTrain station to the campus. Medium-sized college, 23,000 is the annual enrollment. On any given term, remember we have 3 terms, we have about 16,000 students, and 1/3 of those students are international students coming from over 90 countries. So this just shows the kind of aerial view of the main campus. There's the Langara golf course behind the campus, and you can see all the buildings there, and you can see the houses in the foreground at the top there of the picture. You can see those buildings at the that's the downtown. So it gives you an idea where we're located. Okay. So there's the campus map. You can see facilities like library. There's a medical clinic on campus, daycare, gymnasium, cafeteria, coffee shops, tutoring, and so on. Okay, we'll get to the resources for students. And one center that I really want to highlight here is the Co-op and Career Development Center. I highlight this because many of the programs at Langara do have a co-op. And if you're not familiar with co-op, this means work term. And at Langara, many of the programs do have this co-op work term. And sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's optional, but it's there as part of the program. So for this Co-op and Career Development Center, there's an online job board just for Langara students. There's workshops, job fairs, networking events, career fairs, peer-to-peer events, and so on. And for the co-op, I mean, as I said, it could be mandatory or optional. It's full-time paid work in your area of studies, and usually lasts about 16 weeks, 4 months, like one semester. And you get to apply the knowledge that you've gained, you develop those professional skills, and you kind of submit a work term report instead of going to class. So instead of going to sitting in a lecture and then taking exams, you actually go to a company or go to an organization and you're working, and then you submit this work term report. And you're able to work your 20 hours a week if you have a part-time job as well. Okay, we get a lot of questions about scholarships, and right now, scholarships that Langara has. Now, it says here we don't have an entrance scholarship program, but actually we will have one. It's going to be announced in the next month or two. It's not going to be, these are going to be entrance scholarships for international students, and these will range around $5,000. But I cannot give much more information because it's not public, it's not on our website, but it will be available for the 2022 students. So I can give that information to owner when I get that information in more detail. But the scholarships that we do have are for the current Langara students. These are based on academic achievement, merit-based. You have to be a full-time student. If you're an international student, domestic student, doesn't matter, you're eligible. And these are posted in every department in every term. Okay, accommodations. Langara does not have a dormitory or residence on campus. All the students stay off campus. One option that we do have is the Langara homestay department. That means we have our own department that looks after the homestay. It's not a third-party company. So they will match the student with the family. It's maximum 2 students in a house, and each student would get their own private bedroom and then share the facilities. And you live with the Canadian family. Room and meals are provided. You get a chance to practice English, learn about the culture, explore Vancouver, and then they try to match you with a family with similar interests. So that is one option. If we come to that and you're looking at this option, you just let me know, and then I tell the homestay department. They work right next to us and they handle everything, the application, airport pickup, and so on. Oh, and the cost for this is $950 per month, and that includes 3 meals a day. So just to give you an idea about the cost. Okay, so we have a lot of support for the students. Right now, the support is being offered virtually because the last 4 intakes we've been doing virtual because of the pandemic and online education. So, but from September, because we're going to be going back to campus, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, we will be offering all these face-to-face as well. So tutoring, writing help, research skills, personal counseling, career counseling, academic counseling, mental health counseling, any kind of counseling like that is all available for students. Okay, athletics. Langara does participate in 3 sports, and that means they're playing for Langara College. These are all student athletes. And the 3 sports are basketball, soccer or football, and golf for male and female for all 3 sports. Now, I let you know about this because if you excel in one of these sports and you come to Langara and you make the team, one of these teams, you are entitled to quite a big tuition discount. So obviously these players are quite good and you have to make the team. You still have to meet the academic requirement. You still have to get the visa to come to Canada. But if you do try out for one of the Langara sports teams and you make the team, then you can get significant savings in your tuition. Okay, I'm going to turn my attention probably to one of the most important things that people want to know, and that's about the programs at Langara. Just a quick update about the pandemic. So as I mentioned earlier, we've had about the last 4 semesters on online. There was a travel ban last year for most of the year, but Langara is listed on the IRCC website as approved for the COVID-19 readiness plan. And that means if students have a study permit for a program at Langara, they are able to travel to Langara. The Minister of Advanced Education announced in March that the institutions, institutions would go back to campus and do face-to-face. So Langara is preparing for that, and for September, and of course for January and May. Now, obviously, we have to keep on top of the developments and the pandemic, and these are changing pretty rapidly. So hopefully the vaccinations keep going, and already now they've dropped some of the quarantine coming into Canada. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So the programs that we have at Langara include university transfer, bachelor's degree, career programs, career 2-year diploma programs, post-degree diploma programs, and Langara EAP. And I'll talk about each of these coming up. So university transfer, this means you start your studies at Langara. These are regular studies, and then you transfer the credits to complete your degree at a university. Langara is the largest transfer institution to UBC, and you know, obviously that's not the only university, but there's other universities in BC, but it's a very seamless process in BC because of the BC transfer system. So the pathway, you can start at Langara and you have to do at least 1 year. Then you can go into 2nd year at the university, or you can do a credential, get your associate degree, do 2 years at Langara, and then transfer into year 3. So it's either a 1+3 or 2+2. You cannot do a 3+1. You cannot do 3 years at Langara and then just go for 1 year at the university. You have to do 1 year and then you transfer into year 2, or you do 2 years and you transfer into year 3. And one note, as I mentioned, it's very seamless in BC, but you can also transfer out of the province. You can see some examples here: McGill, University of Toronto, Queens. So there is an extra step. You do have to make sure that the university that you're transferring to out of province will accept your credits. Most of them do, but there is an extra step. And maybe owner, if you're still there, you can.
Yes,
I know that
I was going to just say that. Yes.
Yeah, you've done this yourself, and I know you transferred to York. Maybe you can
Yes.
you can talk in Turkish and give your example.
British Columbia eyaleti içinde eğer transfer oluyorsanız zaten derslerinizi almadan önce her zaman BC Transfer Guide diye bir web sitesi var. Oradan kontrol etmeniz iyi olur. Hangi üniversiteye gitmek isterseniz ya da birkaç üniversiteye, Langara College'da aldığınız dersin o üniversitede hangi derse transfer olduğunu görmüş oluyorsunuz. Böylece önceden gereksiz transfer olmayacak bir ders almazsınız. BC için de transfer olmak daha kolay. Kolejlerin üniversitelerle anlaşmaları var. Bu ekranda gördüğünüz gibi. Ben Toronto'da York Üniversitesi'ne transfer oldum. Ontario eyaletinde, Quebec'te, Manitoba'da, istediğiniz yerde bir üniversiteye transfer olabilirsiniz. Şunu soruyorlar: bize bütün transkriptinizi artı ders tanımlarınızı yollayınız diyorlar. Kolejin web sitesinde her dersin tanımı var. Onların hepsini ben bir 8-9 sayfalık bir belgeyle gönderdim. 63 kredim vardı, 60 kredi tanındı. Zaten bir sınırı var yani. Gregor'un da dediği gibi sadece 2 yıla kadar maksimum yarısı transfer olabiliyor. Bir sorun olmadı. Bazı spesifik bölümler var. Diyelim ki mekatronik mühendisliği ya da aviation engineering. Orada şey diyebilirler. Hayır, en baştan bize gelmelisiniz. Ama birçok genel bölümde, mesela business, işletmede bir sorun olmuyordu. Ve derslerin hemen hemen hepsi transfer olabiliyor. I just explained there are some specific programs. Sometimes they might not be able to accept all credits. They want you to start at the university from scratch, like aviation engineering or mechatronics. But generally, most programs, you can transfer most of your courses if you send course descriptions, and it takes a bit of time, but it works. So I did that.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. That's what I wanted to mention. Thank you for highlighting that. And usually it involves sending your transcript, your course outline, your syllabus, and then they'll evaluate. But it's usually quite, they'll accept most of the credits, but there is an extra step, like you mentioned. Thank you,
and in
Onur.
BC, they can check the BC transfer guides.
That's correct, yeah.
They take courses at Langara.
Yeah. Okay, so for the university transfer, I mean, I'm not going to read all these, but you can see like in the 5 areas: arts, business, health, science, technology, humanities, social sciences. These are all areas that you could start and do an associate degree, do 1 year or 2 years, and then do the university transfer. Langara does have a couple bachelor's degrees. One of these are in Bachelor of Science in Bioinformatics, Bachelor of Business Administration, and we have a Bachelor of Recreation Management. So that means you're not transferring, you're doing all 4 years at Langara. Now for the career programs, these are limited enrollment. These are 2-year diploma programs, and these are very practical education. You got the input from the industry, input from the community, and they're basically a lot of programs that will feed into what are the big industries in the Vancouver, BC area. So they're kind of designed so that students finish those programs and then can go into the job market and get a job. Admission to some of these programs can be competitive and there's limited seats, so we always say to apply early. And these are just some of those 2-year diplomas. You can see areas like business, fine arts, journalism, kinesiology, animation, criminology, and so on. We have 1-year certificates, and keep in mind that for 1 year, the postgrad work permit matches that. So if it's a 1-year certificate, your postgrad work permit will be only 1 year. If you do 2 years, like a 2-year diploma, a 2-year associate degree, 2-year post-degree diploma, your postgrad work permit will be 3 years. So you're getting kind of an extra year if you do the 2-year. But if you do the 1 year, it's a 1-year postgrad work permit. Now, for our post-degree diploma, now in Langara we call post-degree diploma, but it's basically postgraduate. Keep in mind, at Langara, we get a lot of questions. People say, I want to do a master's or I want to do a PhD. You cannot do a master's or a PhD at a community college in Canada. Langara is a community college. We do not have master's programs. We do not have PhDs. So basically, as a community college, our highest diploma is called post-degree diploma. And for that, you do need a bachelor's degree. So if you're looking for master's or PhD, please look at a university in Canada. And maybe Onur can give you some examples like that he works with. And so for the post-degree diploma, you do need a bachelor's degree. There's some specific program requirements. They're very practical. Most of them have a work term. Really, I cannot stress this enough to apply early because these are cohort-based. They do fill up fast. And we open the registration usually 11 months before. So always say to apply early. These are the 10 post-degree diploma programs. You can see business, marketing, accounting. Web and mobile app has 2 programs, actually, design and development. They're 2 different programs. The design is more on the user interface, the front end. The development is more on the back end, the programming, the coding. But there's 2 different programs for that. Data analytics is very popular. Health, safety, nursing practice in Canada, you have to be a nurse already in Turkey and have current licensure. Supply chain and logistics is a very popular program because Vancouver is a port city. There's a lot of shipping, there's a lot of freight, there's a lot of goods coming in and out of the port. So there's a high demand for those graduates as well, and applied planning. Now, Langara does have English proficiency requirement. Most of the programs at Langara fit into category 2 or category 3. And so for that, you do need IELTS academic. We're waiving the band requirement for the next 3 semesters. So you need a 6.5 overall. TOEFL has to be 88 or 80, depending on the category. And we are accepting Duolingo 110 through the next May intake. So we're accepting it for September, for January 2022, and May 2022. And you need a score of 110. Now, we do have Langara EAP. That means to improve your, if you need to improve your English and you don't meet the English proficiency requirement, you can start with LEAP. And each of those is 8 levels, 7 weeks for each LEAP, 7 weeks for each LEAP level. We do have a Center for Entertainment Arts. There's animation, visual effects. You do need a portfolio is the main requirement. And for Langara's affiliation with the CEA is for September and January. After that, there will be a CEA, but Langara will not be affiliated with that. Okay, getting close to the end here, just a quick note about the high demand occupations in Vancouver. You can see everything here like auditing, IT, supply chain, as I mentioned, animation, film, web design, nursing, and so on. And the Ministry of Labor in BC, they put out this kind of labor market outlook for 10 years, and they expect between 2019 and 2029, they expect over 860,000 jobs in BC. Most of those jobs will need some kind of credential, a diploma, a certificate, a bachelor's degree, a graduate or professional degree. So if you're coming to Canada or coming to BC, you're starting your studies, takes 2 years or 4 years, you're graduating, you want to get a job, you're right in the middle of this kind of window here. So I just wanted to highlight that. And most of those jobs, you can see the map of BC, most of those jobs will be in the Vancouver area. You can see at the very bottom in the green, the mainland Southwest, that's Vancouver area. So that's over 500 and almost 550,000 jobs expected in and around Vancouver. Okay, so how to apply to Langara? There's basically you have successful completion of your high school or university degree if you're applying to PDD, meet the English language requirement and any additional program requirements. So for the application procedure, you submit proof of graduation, you submit official transcripts. So what we mean by submission is you take a PDF scan of your diploma, of your transcripts. It has to be PDF, it has to be full color, nothing cut off, so no cell phone pictures, no black and white. And if anything is in another language, if it's in Turkish or some other language, then we need a notarized English translation, and we need PDF copies of that as well. Your English language proficiency, IELTS, TRF, or results sent from TOEFL or Duolingo. Any other possible additional requirements, as you can see there, depending on the program. And for the procedure, right now, the evaluation, we're working on about a 3 to 4 week window. I mean, hopefully it's sooner. Right now, we're working with a backlog and we're trying to overcome this, make this kind of sooner. But once everything's assessed, the email offer letter is issued. Once you get that letter, then you must pay an initial deposit of $6,000. Once Langara receives that $6,000 Canadian, then the official letter of acceptance is issued. Once that is issued, then you apply for your visa, you get the visa, then your $6,000 you pay goes toward your first semester's tuition. Then you pay as you go, every semester as you register. So that's how it works. Now, if the visa is denied, I mean, hopefully not, but if it's denied or refused, then we need the refusal letter and we need the before the semester starts, we need the refusal letter and we need the request for refund, and then we refund the full $6,000. There is an application fee of $155. That is non-refundable. So I'm wrapping up here, and then we'll get to all the questions and discussion. And so just, I've touched on some of these points. Why Langara? It's a public institution, great location in one of the most livable cities in the world, Vancouver, largest university transfer program to UBC and one of the largest in BC. Small class sizes, lower tuition fees, as I mentioned, compared to universities, diploma certificate programs, PDD programs, LEAP, and you're able to work off campus, and you're eligible for the postgrad work permit. So there's my information, my contact information, gpokorny@langara.ca. My marketing assistant, Somez, she's not on the call, but her email, smarabani@langara.ca. You can see our social media channels there, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. So that brings me to the end, and I'll just get to some questions here. Let me just stop sharing this. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I guess we can get to...
Gregory, I can start.
Sorry, owner,
with the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hazal Hanım, Zeynep Hanım, beni duyabiliyor musunuz?
Evet, duyabiliyoruz Onur Bey.
Tamam, okeydir. İlk soru Tamer Bey mi, en üstteki mi? Bir dakika. Order date hangi sıra doğru? Bakıyorum bir saniye. 11.35, diğeri hangisiymiş? Bir dakika, çek şuradan. İlk soru, evet, aşağıdan. Merhaba, okula başvurmak için hangi dil seviyesinde olmalı? IELTS sertifikası isteniyor mu? Dil seviyeleriyle ilgili sizi bilgilendirmişti Gregory, anlattı. IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo sınavlarını kabul ediyorlar. IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, PTE bunlar kabul ediliyor. IELTS'te seviyeniz ne olması gerekiyor? 6, bazı programlar için, postgradler için 6.5 olabilir. Onu programa göre bakmak gerekiyor. Ama minimum 6 olması gerekiyor. Langara College'in herhangi bir dil okuluyla anlaşması yok. Belki araştırmış kişiler bilebilir. Bazı dil okullarının pathway programları var. Langara'nın yok. Langara'nın kendi dil okuluna gidebilirsiniz ama bir dönem veya 2 dönem. Eğer yetmiyorsa İngilizce seviyeniz. Böylece de istediğiniz asıl bölüme de şartlı kabul alıyorsunuz. Yani dil okulundan kabul, akademik programdan da şartlı kabul veriyorlar. Onunla vizeye başvurabilirsiniz. Langara College'da dil okulunu okuyup bitirebilirsiniz. I am doing my PhD. Gregory, if you can hear me, let me know.
Yes, I
I
can.
am doing my PhD. Bu sorular peki niye kesiliyor aşağı doğru? Soruyu niye göremiyorum? I am doing my PhD in educational psychology in Turkey. Would it cause any problems in terms of visa, etc. if I want to apply for a 2-year program? Visa, immigration-related questions, I will just explain it briefly, and I will tell them to consult an immigration consultant. Probably, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, Langara has no problem with anybody meeting, as long as you meet the admission requirements. But obviously there's some issues with the visa, right? You have to kind of, because the visa, they want to see progression in studies. So you have a PhD, you've got a master's, you got a PhD, then you're going to a 2-year diploma. There could be some issues. So that's about all I can say. But Langara has no problem.
In very unique situations, it's possible to do this. If someone has a very famous restaurant that's left from her father or mother in a touristic district and wants to do some culinary arts, like, it has to be a very unique situation for the visa officer to believe. I'll explain. Gregory'nin dediği gibi, yani bir insan işte master yaptı, PhD yaptı, sonra geri dönüp 2 senelik bir program okudu örneğin. Bu inandırıcı olmayabilir ama az İngilizce anlattığım gibi, yani mesela bir restoranınız vardı Sultanahmet'te, annenizden babanızdan kalma, dersiniz ki ben böyle bir şey okumak istiyorum çünkü dönüp işte bu restoranı işleteceğim. Çok ilginç bir örnek veriyorum. Şey diyebilirsiniz, öyle bir restoranım olsa niye gideyim Kanada'ya? Ama açıklayıcı olması lazım. Yani PhD'niz mesela sürekli işletme alanındadır diyelim ki işte İktisadi ve İdari Bilimler Fakültesi'nde hep bölümlerdir. Ardından siz diyelim ki lojistikte çalışıyorsunuzdur yıllardır. Akademik geçmişinizle iş geçmişiniz farklıdır. Lojistik alanında bir eğitim almak istiyorum dersiniz. O da inandırıcı olabilir. I gave another example. If a person did all her studies in business, but she has also been working in logistics for many years, maybe she could do a logistics program. Like, it has to be believable. It has to be plausible. In terms, like in the eye of the visa officer. Tabii Langara bir sorun görmüyor. İsteyen yeter ki gerekli şeyleri yerine getirsin, başvurabilir diyor. Do you provide homestay option for housing? You explained this already.
Yeah.
Homestay. You extensively explained that.
Yeah.
Homestay var mı diye sordunuz. Langara College'in bir homestay departmanı var. Burnaby liselerinin, Vancouver liselerinin de bütün homestaylerini onlar yapıyor. Bu arada yani acenteyle başvurduğunuzda onlar sizi başka bir homestay firmasına da yönlendirebilirler. Hatta bizim kendi homestay firmamız var Kanada'da. Biz hem okul kaydını yapıp hem homestay ile ilgili yardımcı olabiliriz. Do you charge extra for co-op? Also, do you have agreements with companies, or would we have to find companies for ourselves? You
so basically,
No.
There's some. It depends on the program, right? So there could be some tuition fee may vary depending if there's co-op or not. But as far as the placement for co-op, that's when the Co-op and Career Development Center, they will help you with the placement, but you still have to apply for the job and you still have to get the co-op position. But there's a lot of support because if it's part of the program, we want, Langara has to make sure that you get a placement.
Okay, and I will explain also in Turkish the questions. I'll also translate. Some people might not be very good in English. Co-op için ekstra para alınıyor mu? Co-op dediğimiz bu staj için okul yardımcı oluyor mu? Anlaşmaları var mı firmalarla, yoksa biz mi buluyoruz dedi. Co-op için ekstra bir para alınmadığını açıklıyor Gregory. Öyle zaten. Yani programdan programa fiyatı değişir sadece. Hangi program ne kadar paradır? Çok yüksek farklılıklar yok ama program fiyatlarında. Co-op için ekstra bir para alınmıyor ama hani staj bulunması için. Ama stajda da sizi alıp yerleştirmiyorlar bir yere. Yani Türkiye'de de böyle bir şey olmaz ki. Yani Koç Üniversitesi'ni bitirin, Koç Holding sizi otomatik olarak almaz ki. Yani gidersiniz yine başvurursunuz. Yani size zorunlu olarak bir şirket almıyor. Bir anlaşma yok. O anlaşmalar vesaire olan çok küçük kariyer kolejlerinde otelle anlaşıyor. Bir odayı temizletiyor. Onda kişinin çok büyük bir yeteneği olması gerekmediği için direkt olabiliyor. Ama siz lojistikle ilgili bir program bitirdiniz ya da hemşirelikle ilgili diyelim bir sürü program saydı. Sizi bir yere zorunlu olarak hani sen benim öğrencimi almalısın diye bir şey yapamıyor. Yardım ediyor sadece. Bağlantıları var, anlaşmaları yok. Yani anlaşma demeyelim. I explained it. Do you offer short-term certificate programs with co-op? Kısa dönem sertifika programları var mı co-op? I don't know what she means by short-term. The shortest one is 8 months. Do you have the one-year certificates with co-op or no? It has to be diploma? Gregory? No.
You're muted, Gregory.
No, it's not muted. It's the internet connection. I can see it. It says the internet connection. That's what I see. Evet. Hazal kim konuştu? Hazal Hanım, Zeynep Hanım bilmiyorum ama. İnternet bağlantısından dolayı söylüyor. Kısa dönem co-op programları var mı? Co-op programları bir senelik sertifika programlarında çok fazla olmuyor. Ama postgrad programlar var. Üniversite mezunlarına özel. Onlarda olabiliyor. Co-op programları ama genelde 2 senelik olan programlarda oluyor. Bir seneliklerde de var. Ama daha çok 2 senelik diploma programlarında oluyor. Bu arada yani prezentasyonda anlattı. Hani post-secondary programlar var. Post-degree, post-graduate, post-baccalaureate hepsi aynı anlama geliyor. Yani üniversite mezunu özel bölümler var. Bazı üniversite mezunlarının bu post-degree, post-baccalaureate, post-graduate denilen hepsi aynı olan programlara başvurmaları vize açısından daha iyi olabiliyor. Bir de onlarda üniversite mezunu olmak gerekiyor. Lise mezunları yok. IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo skorlarında da farklılık olabiliyor gerekli seviyede. Soruyla alakalı değildi ama ayrıca anlattım günde gelince aklıma. Is new academic year would be totally on campus as the pandemic seems to be better in Canada. Akademik yıl bu sene sadece direkt yüz yüze eğitim olarak mı olacak? Kanada'daki durumlar iyi diye. Kanada'daki durumlar iyi olsa da çok fazla önlem alıyorlar onlar. Yani çok emniyetli davrandıkları için Eylül ayında yüz yüze eğitim olabilecek, anlattı da prezentasyonda, yüz yüze eğitim olabilecek diye düşünüyorlar ama bence ikisini de sunacaklar. Yani online eğitim de olabilir. Bazı programlar için hayır burada olmak zorundasın diyebilirler. Hibrit olan programlar var. Eylül ile ilgili dünya sürekli değiştiği için yorum yapmak istemiyorum ama Ocak ayı içinde tahminen durumlar düzelip normal yüz yüze eğitime geçecekler diye düşünüyorum. Bir de 2 aşısını olmuş kişilerin Kanada'da ilk gittiklerinde bir otelde konaklamaları vesaire gibi zorunluluklar da kaldırılabilir. Öyle söylediler yeni kanun geçecek diye. Öyle de bir durum var. Normalde ilk gittiğinizde bir 3 gün otelde kalmanız gerekiyor. Havaalanının yakınlarında o devletin anlaşmalı olduğu. Ardından da bir 11 gün daha da bir yerde karantinada kalmanız gerekiyor. Yani sizin istediğiniz bir yerde, Airbnb'de, homestay'de kiraladığınız bir yerde. İlk 3 günkü otel zorunluluğu kalkabilir dediler. Is it possible to transfer all credits to university? Universities like UBC. Greg'in internetinde bir sorun oldu galiba, çıktı ama ben devam edebilirim. Bu arada ben de 19 yıldır bu sektördeyim. Ben de bu okulun mezunuyum. Kanada vatandaşıyım. Ben liseyi bitirmeden gittim oraya. Liseyi bitirdim. Langara College'a geçtim. Sonra New York'a. Sorularınızı cevaplandırabilirim. Okulun spesifik bölümleriyle ilgili bilgileri tabii Gregory daha iyi bilir ama.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now. Yes, you're back.
I couldn't unmute. My mic wouldn't unmute, and I couldn't get it to go. So sorry about that.
It said because of internet connection or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry about that, but I'm glad I'm back in.
I continue, no problem. One question was, do you have certificate programs with co-op? I said it's usually diploma programs, no?
Yeah, that's right. It has to be the certificate. They don't have that. It's just the 2-year diploma programs and 2-year post-degree diploma.
You don't have any 1-year post-degree diploma?
No.
1 year, no. Bazı kolejlerde var bu ama Langara College'da yokmuş. Bazı kolejlerde var biliyorum ama yani 1 senelik olanlar. Langara'da yok. 1 senelik programlarda co-op yok dedi.
I just put in the chat box. I put a link to the program guide, so anybody can, if you check the chat box, you can click on the link for the program guide, and that shows all the programs, the tuition fees, the requirements, and so on. You can download that, and that gives you more information about each of the programs.
Chat bölümünde bütün programların olduğu linki koymuş. Bütün programlara bakabilirsiniz dedi. Is it possible to transfer all credits to university like UBC? Bütün üniversitelere transfer olmak mümkün mü UBC gibi? We explained this during the presentation. Yes, it's possible. Tekrar kısaca söyleyebilirim. BC Transfer Guide diye bir port. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I can read some of the English questions here. It might be a little bit faster on our. When is the application deadline for fall semester? It's already passed. So that's sorry about the noise, but that's already passed. Just a second.
I'm going from the first question up. BC Transfer Guide denilen portaldan hangi dersleri aldığınıza, hangi üniversiteleri transfer olduğuna bakabilirsiniz. Ona göre dikkatlice derslerinizi alırsınız. Ve UBC'ye, SFE'ye, UVic, aklınıza gelebilen BC'deki bütün üniversitelere transfer olabilirsiniz. I just went from the first to last. Which programs are the most advantageous for career in Canada? Kariyer için en iyi.
Which program is what?
Which programs are most advantageous for having a better career in Canada or something? You can't answer yes. I mean, you can.
Yeah, it really varies. I mean, business, but it just depends on. I mean, as I said in Vancouver, I put in the presentation some of those high demand occupations. It just depends on where you're living and what your interests are, and so on. I see a question here. I have IELTS Academic 7, but it expired 3 years ago. It's not going to be taken. It has to be within the last 2 years.
Where's that question? Yes. Okay. Yes. Correct.
And
yes,
Baris,
right
Virus, I have graduated a bachelor's degree program in Estonia. It was 100% English. No, I think Langara would still require, if you're Turkish and even you did it in Estonia, you did it in English, because Estonia is not an English-speaking country, so they would still require IELTS or a Duolingo or some kind of English test. Yeah.
Ana dili İngilizce olmayan bir ülkede eğitim aldıysanız, İngilizce bile eğitim alırsanız alın, yine de IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo isterler. It has to be a first language, like English as a English first language country. Yeah. Canada, US, UK.
Yeah. Sybil asks, I'm experienced software engineer, computer engineering, bachelor. I want to apply to computer studies co-op. It has limited enrollment. The computer studies co-op program, in this case, I think it might be better to apply to maybe web and mobile in the post-degree diploma program. It's first come, first serve. It's basically, if you apply in time, you can get admission.
Okay, and what else important?
UBC,
is your GPA important? It says,
sorry?
Is your GPA important for application?
So it depends on the program. Most of the GPA for the undergraduate, it's not taken in consideration. Basically, as long as you've graduated, some of the PDD programs like data analytics, they may look at GPA. If you want to do engineering, they will look at your high school physics, chemistry, math. They will look at your marks. But generally, if you got a, most of the programs, as long as you've graduated, then you're eligible.
But there could be required courses that you should have taken at high school, right? Like math, for example. Some people don't.
That's what I mean. For engineering, they will look at, you need to have taken physics, you need to have taken chemistry, you need to have taken math. Then they will look at the grades.
Business as well? For business, probably?
No.
No?
No.
Bazı bölümler, örneğin mühendislikte, lisede matematik, fizik vesaire almış olmanız gerekir. Bazı bölümler data analitikte mesela GPA'ye bakabilirler dedi. Fakat hani not ortalamanıza lise veya üniversite mezunları için genelde not ortalamasına bakılmıyor. Mezun olmuş olmanız gerekiyor. Gerekli dersler varsa bölümle alakalı almış olmanız gerekiyor. I explained it.
Yep.
Like some colleges require being over 19. There's no age limit, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, like for minimum age, as long as you've graduated high school, probably that's going to be 17, 18, or 19. If you're under 18, then you would need custodian, but basically you have to graduate high school. As far as age limit, we have students studying in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s at Langara, but getting a visa though, as you get older may become an issue.
Or if you're younger, as you said, 17, 16, if you graduated at 17, it's okay. You have a custodian. Okay. Yaş sınırı diye bir şey yok. Üst veya alt. Yani vize tabii yaşı büyük olan kişiler için zor olabilir ama kişi 17 yaşındaysa olabilir. Gardiyandan bahsetti. Orada sizin bir legal gardiyanınız olması lazım falan dedi. O vizeyle alakalı konular. How much should we have for the 1 year, for example, data analytics program? A program for 1 year is about 17 or 18.
So if you look at, if they click on the program guide that I put in the chat box, that has all the tuition fees for all the programs. So I don't know what program this person's interested in, but
data analytics, he said.
Data analytics is a 2-year program. It's
not 1 year. Okay.
It's 2-year post-degree program, so that you're looking at around 27,000 for 2 years, so 13,000 for 1 year Canadian.
Programlar 13.000 ile 17-18 bin dolar arasında değişiyor bir senesi. 2 senelik programsa 2 seneyle çarpıyorsunuz o. Tabii hani program için para ayırmak yanı sıra yaşam masraflarınız var, konaklama, vize için göstermeniz gereken para var. Daha detaylı yani sorabilirsiniz. Bir de hangi program kariyer için Kanada daha iyidir onu oturup anlatamaz ama bizimle irtibat kurarsanız yani benimle ben sonradan size bilgi verebilirim. Is there a program for educational sciences for postgraduate diploma?
No. Again, please look at the program guide. Page 6 has all the post-degree diploma programs. We do not have anything in education science. I see one question. I see a question here about new academic year would totally be on campus as the pandemic seems better in Canada. So as I mentioned in my presentation, in September, we are going back to face-to-face, but we will have some online component because we realize not all students can travel from their home country depending on the situation in their country. But we are preparing for face-to-face. So I would say it's probably going to be a 70-30 split, you know, maybe 80-20, 80% on campus, 20% online. And then January, next February, or sorry, January, next May. Let's see. I mean, I hope it should be better, but you know, obviously the pandemic is a fluid situation, so we'll have to see. But we are preparing for face-to-face. Majority will be on the campus.
When you were offline, I answered. I said they could provide an option for online to some students who can't make it, or for some programs you will mandate it to be face-to-face, probably.
Well, but no, but I think majority of the programs are going to be face-to-face, going to be on campus. But there's going to be, you know, there could be some programs with an online component because they know that if a student's in their home country and they can't come, they can't travel because of restrictions and so on, then they will have some kind of, I think it's still being all worked out, but there's still going to be some online component.
Okay. I think we answered, I think, almost. Does Langara have its own English exam for admission? I actually explained. I said you have your own ESL program.
Yeah, we have our own ESL program, and we do have a Langara English test. It's being offered right now on limited basis, but we do. It's called LET, L-E-T. So we do have that, but it's done on campus.
On campus.
I have to check to see if it's offered online, but I don't think it is offered online.
I don't think so. I wrote that many years ago. I remember. Yeah, it was still not offered online now. Langara College'in kendi İngilizce sınavı var ama o online verilmiyor. Yani orada olmanız gerekiyor. Diyeceksiniz bu kimin işine yarıyor? Orada okuyup mesela dil okulunda giden 5-6 aydır diyelim ki eğitim alan birisi Langara'ya gitmek isterse orada Langara'nın sınavına giriyor. Böylece işte IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo gerekmeden kabul edilebiliyor. Students who are already in Vancouver, you know, or maybe ESL students, they could use this exam, but not from overseas. Online, most probably not possible. What's the
I think one of the things that most people are doing is a lot of students are doing Duolingo. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, and then just once you get the result, you can just send directly from Duolingo to Langara. So a lot of students are doing that. We're accepting Duolingo through the May 2022 semester. And you need a score of 110.
Yes, some of the questions in Turkish, Hazal and Zeynep also have replied to, so I think we covered all of them.
Okay, well, listen, I know I kind of went over here, and really appreciate everybody taking time out of your, I think it's late afternoon or evening in Turkey. But thank you very much for attending. It's been a pleasure to be here. Owner, thank you very much for all your answers. And I guess what I'll do is we'll get the list of the registrants, and I will follow up with some more information, but including the presentation and the the program guide and some other information. Owner will also reply to students in Turkish. If you have, I mean, Owner is our trusted partner, and you can please go to him for any local support in Turkish as well. And yeah, thank you to Zeynep and the team at IEFT. And I'm really honored to be here again and take part, and look forward to the next one. I think is in early July.
Thank you. Herkese teşekkürler katıldığınız için. Zeynep Hanım, Hazal Hanım, size de teşekkürler.
Yes, thank you very much for your great presentation, Gregory.
Thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I'm glad that we got it in. And thank you, Owner, and wish everybody a good day and good night. Thank you.
Yes, we had a lot of questions. Also, you put a real effort answering all of them. Thank you for your answers. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. And I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Langara College ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adreslerinden Gregory'e ve Onur Bey'e ulaşabilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda linkleri de incelemeniz faydalı olacaktır. Yarınki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Okay, thank you everybody. Goodbye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.